Hey, morning, 2CRS, Ashes. Yeah, what's going on here? What is going on there? I'm just trying to work out. Ah, that's better. Why are you... Morning, Paul, Freddie, Mawe, Jacob, another Paul. Well, people don't get to sleep because I don't get to sleep. I think I had about 4 hours, which was a nice change for me. But then I had some people ring the doorbell outside of the time that they were permitted. And that's in spite of the fact that I have a whopping great big sign which says no ringing of the doorbell unless you have a specific appointment or something prior to these hours. And it turns out they were just religious people trying to push their religion. So they didn't get a warm reception from me. Okay, it's back. Roger, my phone also got this issue last week, or a week ago. Not iPhone. I think NAND flash is damaged. I'm not exactly sure what I'm dealing with here. I had a person who was pretty eager to get a bunch of my broken parts, things like old screens, old cases, things like that. And they offered me this broken iPhone 5S as a trade. And I thought, oh, okay. But what actually got me interested is the fact that they've got all the Apple ID and passcodes and everything for it. So I thought, why not? It's pretty rare to get a second-hand, beaten-up phone that actually has all the iPhone codes, ID, and everything with it. So it's a pretty sad state for the screen. Nice beaten up, but that's trivial. We don't care about that. The chassis is pretty beaten up. I haven't fired it up or anything yet. But let's switch over to the camera and have a look around. Okay. The microphone's not sitting right with me today. Oh well. Sometimes I wish I was on the 0.5 Barlow to get a bit more of a wide view, but I'm pretty happy with the 0.7. There's a nice little puncture there. It didn't go through, thankfully. And there, goodness knows what they're up to. And that's torn off. Lovely. Not sure whether it's my own eyes or whether it's the camera, the microscope, but it seems a little bit out of focus. Looks like they've been having a good time here, chewing away. Yep, well, it looks like that's all going to be replaced. I suppose the only thing I care about really is the main board. They've left the SIM in here, that's great. Yeah, that'll explain some issues. And that's been beaten up a bit there. Also got no long screw damage. That's a nice. Looks like they've been rubbing against that pretty hard. Crikey. Yeah, that's a... That kind of make a mess of the touch. I suppose I'll have to replace that. I haven't done one of these ones before. Hey, Cryj. In lurk mode. Dinner and no earphones. Oh, well. Hey, Amy. Looks like they've been stabbing at this too. Look at that. That's a nice bit of chunk of solder taken out in there. Why do people do this to their phones? I don't know. Are these actually pins? Yeah, they are. I'm kind of torn about trying to even boot this just to see what it's doing. Oh, well, no, that's fucked. And that is out of here. Well, I wonder if that was critical. Someone want to tell me what that was for? What's that one there for? Actually, that looks like that's just ground. It's coupling with that one, so I can actually live without that. If I clear out some of this mashed up plastic, it might let me put a connector on there for just to fire up and see what it's doing. I won't be surprised if this has probably got a tri-star failure. Man, that's mashed up. Did I just hear my doorbell ring? According to the security cameras, I did not. Thankfully. Yeah, they are very soft. Yeah. So I'm just hoping I can clear away the worst of the mashed up plastic so that then at least I can fit the connector on without it interfering. That is weak as anything. Yeah, you just glue. Right, looks like they got a little bit eager there with the camera. With the microwave damaged phone that I had the other day, the person bought me three or four, I think it was three or four other various states of decay iPhones and wants me to try and make a working replacement out of it. But all the boards that have been bought to me, they're all iCloud locked, and they're all beaten up. So I don't think the person's going to be too happy when they come pick up that stuff. Oh, there we go. Couple of little. That's probably why we've got the issue. Yeah, that's not going to help. As Jessa likes to call them, the little peckers. I wonder how critical that capacitor is going to be. There'll be a capacitor that goes in here. I know the chances of getting my soldering iron in there are, I'd say, close to 0. Oops. Oh no, might actually get it in there. Probably should put some flux. Come on, that's way too much. Someone I follow on YouTube has an account locked after multiple DMCA complaints by trolls. Wonder if I hadn't seen post anything. It's not good if... did the person have stuff on the channel that was... or could be considered as copyright or whatever? Or is it more like Apple saying you can't show people how to do that? Yeah, boy. Oop, nearly lost that sucker. Rossman can't find you on YouTube. He thinks you're a magician. I'm a little shocked that he can't find me. There's my stuff is posted everywhere, but that's not a good sign if he can't find me. Oh, well, you can always message me if he needs really to find me. This has proven to be a little bit trickier than I want. This is where having a soldering iron tip that is only tinned in a very small area, what is that on the end of them, is useful. Hacko produce a couple of them, but unfortunately not in this fine tip that I want. It just means that instead of the solder going all over the place on the tip, it's just in that one little location that you need. Yeah, did you get sit down? Yeah, you sat down. That's good. And do the other side. Probably a good idea to remove that flex. Have you seen Dan at Geelong Microsoft has stopped his intake? Yeah, I did, Jacob. I'm actually... oh, we've got corrosion there. Great. Are you a friend of Ben Duffy? Because, yeah, he... poor chap took a heart attack the other week. He's okay now, but I mean, he's got a lifetime of management ahead of him now. It's the trouble with things like heart attacks. Yeah, you never really do recover, but maybe in the future biomedical technology will improve to the point where they can actually repair the damage on the heart rather than just managing it. There we go. I'm trying to decide what that cap is. I mean, it shouldn't be... what's a weird little glass ball? Shouldn't be critical, as long as the resistor is down. I can probably get away without that cap being there, as soon as I can find my board. Let's have a look under here and see what corrosion we've got. If which looks clean. Not sure why that corrosion's there, but not too worried about it at this point. My guy here, who I do work for, let me know. I did send him a message offering help with workload, but yet to hear back. He's a very hard man to get in contact with. Yeah, you may want to try going through Ben Nash, who talks to Ben Duffy a lot. There's more to do with the video that has lots of other folk that may say part of their code. Okay. Oh, gee, yeah. Don't get me started with code, copyright, stealing issues. The whole IBM slash Solaris, not Solaris, SCO thing was a 10-year debacle of pointlessness. I mean, it was all just a big ploy to pump and dump stock. So clean that tip, that little piece there, just a teeny tiny up. Come on. That's it. And when SCO were pressed for showing the offending code, the stuff they put up were just code headers and then obfuscated with replacing various letters with Greek letters. I mean, it all worked well for the impressing the people who were funding the court case against IBM in that case. But in the end, it was an excellent example of how to run a very protracted legal campaign, draining money out of people who really didn't know better. 5 seconds looking at the offending code that they were talking about as a programmer, and you kind of go, well, no, there's nothing interesting there. That's just, you're just making up stuff. I might use my own 5S screen for this. Let's see. What I got? 5S screen with backlight removed. Backlight reflector plate removed. I have strong feelings that this probably won't do much, but hopefully I won't ruin the touch connector too much. Not that there's much left to ruin. And get some idea of what I'm dealing with here. Touch connectors set down. Do wonder at times if these people have no sense of a soft touch or whatever when it comes to... You're not going to come up? Nothing at all? Alright. Whoops. Let's put it on the DC power supply. It's probably a more prudent option anyway. Can't imagine this battery's had a very happy life. Well, it's not drawing any current when I first turn on, so that's good. We've got an Apple logo. It looks funny because there's no reflector plate on it. Yeah. Repaired a GPU a few weeks ago. Knocked off caps and resistors, replaced and working. Oh, that's good when you have success like that. What's my take on the cryptocurrency hype? I'll be honest, I don't really have a strong opinion on that. I've never delved into it much. We've got a passcode here. Let's see if this actually... Right. Yeah, they give me a 4-digit passcode and it's a 6-digit requirement. It's interesting, I'm only reading 1% on the charge, but I suspect that's because of that knocked off part. And now I'm reading 97 and we just switched off. I'd say it's because of those knocked off little peckers. Do surface mount soldering with a $10 soldering iron? Well, you can do it with a $10 soldering iron. It's just that it's a little bit harder. Hey Alex, I'm just trying to see whether I've wasted a box of broken parts for this or not. I'm just trying to. I'm gonna message the person and see if I can't get them to expand on what this supposed passcode is, because it sure doesn't seem to be this one. Now I've got to try and find them. Yeah, my way, I will get around to putting those back. For the sake of testing, I wasn't too fussed. It's more of a stability thing in that case, probably. Well, at least we know the touch works. I'm kind of curious to see if it will boot just from USB. We'll find out. Like I said, I've been given the Apple ID supposedly for it. It's a little hard to test. Okay, let's see. It looks like we've probably got a TriStar failure, because it's not coming up. I'll try with my proper brick. If I can find my proper brick. Where are you? Charge brick. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there it is. Staring right at me. Okay, that did. Maybe it was just a. Okay, probably not TriStar failure. What I suspect this phone is probably, given that the age of this person, it was probably a mate's phone, a friend's phone, or someone at school, or something like that, and they traded it back and forth. Alright, now I've got to go find out what size capacitor that is, and I might actually just have one fresh. rather than trying to pull a donor. Come on, Paul, where's your brains? I love how OBS seems to want to what's happened there? It always seems to want to invert those colors for some reason. I'll do. Okay. So we've got these down here. Come on, zoom in. There we go. C279. C279. It's a 56 picofarad, 16 volt, 01005. Well, definitely don't have one of those. It's a pretty damned insignificant little thing. Its lack of presence shouldn't cause a lot of issues. Well, I guess I'll get the board out. Now, how do you... Ah, very good. Hey, RTC. Yeah, well, yeah, family's all good. Yeah, I saw the third update was out today with the iOS. I think they kind of, I don't know, they pushed it a little hard. It might have been because of the iPhone 8 coming out. They wanted to get everything out at the same sort of time. But it does seem like it's been a rather problematic release. Yeah, it's funny when people talk about all these new interesting trending things like cryptocurrency. Not that cryptocurrency is that new and all that. I always feel like I'm a bit of a hermit or something because I really don't have a lot of... I don't tend to dive into a lot of that stuff or spend a lot of time and effort in keeping up with that, which maybe is not the best thing. Maybe I should be, but at the end of the day, I'm sort of busy enough just trying to keep the food on the table and stuff like that. The same programming languages. Like if I'm reading an old news website called slash.org, and you see all these new languages coming out, and here I am still coding away in C 30-40 years on. Well, 30 years now for me. What am I... I'm wondering if perhaps that filter isn't entirely down. I probably should pull this shield off and find out how far that corrosion has gone. I don't think it's gone very far at all, but better be safe than sorry. I see a bug on my desk. Probably somewhere. Wouldn't surprise me. Though I can't see any. Certainly not any living ones. Oop, nearly stabbed my own finger. Okay. Come on, up we go. Did you fix the AC? Must be hot. Nope, there's no AC in this room at all now. I took it out and I simply just have a window. So I'm relying on conventional airflow, which is probably not the best thing. Yeah, unfortunately chat delay is very much a standard part of life. Okay, yeah, looks like we've got a little bit of corrosion in there. That doesn't look like too much trouble. Let's give it a brush down. Doesn't look important. Alright, we'll put that capacitor back on, and well, the corrosion is persistent though. What are the chances he gets the correct unlock code for this phone? Oh, I would say maybe 1%. I don't mind if he doesn't get the right chat code. What do you call it? Oh, sorry, I've just... What's going on here? Will not turn on. Oh. Oh, just answering messages. As long as the Apple ID is good, I'm happy. Don't know how to put these things close. Yeah, it's probably zoomed in too far. There we go. Yeah, that filter wasn't down properly. I have the... supposedly I have the password for the Apple ID on this, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, normally you can't get people to give that sort of information to you at all. Ah, that's just a disaster here. Oh. It's a nasty mix of leaded, unleaded, all sorts of things. I'm going to get that tip not to touch into... come on, give me a pillow. Come here. Might have to actually wick that up. I know what's wrong here. Should be using my board holder. Looks like we've got a lone lost TriStar here. I'd say 90% likely it's dead. Let's try to get some pillows down. You're not winning, Paul. Actually, when you got the try logging into that account, removing the device from the account. Yeah, actually, that would be an easier option than trying to get it boot up and everything. Looks like we just took the edge off that, whatever that was. That's my fault. Too obsessed with trying to get those pillows in, I did that little bit of damage. Actually, I might try that passcode thing right now. If we can. Let's see. I'm shocked. The account actually logged in, so we legitimately have one that works. Unbelievable. Huh. Shocking. Curiously though, I can't see this iPhone on there. So although I have the account, supposedly, I wonder what the chance is that this device is not even on that account. Where was I? That's where I was. Try a different technique for getting pillows on there. I should have done this before. Just gotta be careful when you do it this way, because it doesn't take a lot of paste. That should be more than ample. You end up with a lot of balls. See, most of them didn't form together. Okay, I've still got to find that cap. See if I've got a iPhone 5S elsewhere that's already got that shield removed. Where's my box of boards? Great. Naturally, it's at the very bottom. Oops. Alright. The trick with this is, of course, not losing that little part. Realistically, I still say that capacitor, it doesn't have a strong... it's not a strong need to have that. It's merely there as a very high frequency sort of noise reduction. The key issue there was that the filter wasn't... Yeah, I'm going to burn this connector. Yeah, the key issue there was the filter wasn't connected properly, so that's why it was momentarily sitting down at 1% and then all of a sudden jumped up to 97, 100%. It would have just been the contacts, the filter making contact with the board again. Come on, why are you taking so long to come off? I suppose because you're on the ground plane and... There we go. And do not take your eyes away from the piece that you're holding. If I take my eyes off this little capacitor, it's going to disappear. And there we go. Could have lost it right then. Come on. Crap. Lack of sleep causing the shakes there a bit. At least that's my excuse. Better clean up all this solder slag either way, other side. Okay, that's pretty good. Hey, WorldTech. Good to see you. Alright, let's say we put this into a body and then we try and DFU it. Won't bother going through the pains of replacing that touch connector unless I can confirm I can actually reset this phone. Mako, they're the shield hold downs. So when I drop off the shield, that's what they've been attached to. Oh, these little things. Oh. It's a pain to have to drop the shield off just for those little bits, but it does make it easier to get in there and solder them. If you had a micro soldering iron, like the micro handles or whatever for the Hakko, it probably wouldn't help much anyway. I don't have one, but it probably wouldn't help much anyway because there's probably not enough thermal capacity in those micro tips. What's going on there? Just trying to get the Wi-Fi antenna connected because I do want that for when I'm doing the recovery. At least this one hasn't been burnt to death by microwave. That previous phone, like I said, the general consensus does seem to be that it probably did get water in it, and then the person, most likely it seems, put it in the microwave to try and dry it out. It was rather spectacular. But still, I find the most amusing thing about that was the fact that it even worked afterwards. Oh, for goodness sake, come on. This connector up here always gets me. It wants more force than what I'm expecting every single time. Let's use their SIM card. Oh, I hate that. Time to put some oil on that. Well, we don't. Let's see. Greg, we're not exactly sure if or if it not that code is associated with this phone. It's an unknown at this point, and I guess that's what we're going to find out. Oh, sorry. I just realised I need the home button for this. So I need to go find myself a 5S screen with a home button. Sure, I've got one around somewhere. And I most surely do. My guess is most likely that the boot looping that the person was talking about when they said it didn't work was being caused by the fact that they knocked off that filter. And it sort of fits the pattern pretty well. Okay, we're going to need a bit of a charge up probably. Kitty litter, the coupling kind. Ah, yes, for water removal. Well, we just still reboot then. Still boot looping. Okay. Let's try it with the 4.2 volts again. Maybe the battery itself is actually completely cactus, come to think of it. And the battery is a replacement. There we go. Held down by 2 tiny strips of tape. Really? That's not even a good effort. Logia, why does my phone smell of after what? Oh yeah, now I see what you're saying. Yeah, after someone's put it in the clumping. Yeah. Taking gamble on this one. I haven't put a great big X on that battery, so there's no confirmation yet that it's a dud. Normally when I pull out a client's battery that I suspect is a dud, I tend to put a great big red X on it so that I don't leave it lying around, accidentally use it. So like this. And then I put the date on it, 2017, 10/14, because yesterday was Friday the 13th. That just looped again, I'm pretty sure. Or was that iOS 11? I'm very surprised this has already got iOS 11 on it. Shows the bench meter current as it boots. Oh yeah, whoops. Oh well, it's already booted. But and that's just the charge current anyway. Got screen flickering, that's normal. According to that, it's got 80% battery. Let's see if I can get it to go into DFU mode. It looks like my screen connector's not on properly somewhere. Okay, it's in DFU mode. Unfortunately, the screen has decided to go cactus on me. I'm just going to go plug this into iTunes and see what comes up. Although I might have to do that again since it's... God damn it. Unfortunately, my iTunes machine is off. It's just coming back up now. You must restore this iPhone. Restore an update. Fortunately, the software package is already downloaded, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long. Yeah, it looks like I would have just had me answer a question here from someone. Extracting software, still what? That's weird. The phone just came out of DFU mode on its own. It's a little different. Definitely not expecting that. Weird. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, boots all the way. It's just that I don't have a PIN code for it. I've been given a PIN code, but it's only 4 digits, and this one wants 6 digits. Let's see, iOS 1103 fixed the issue of incompatible 3D touch on a 6S. A lot of genuine 6S screens were failing on. Okay. I was wondering why they fixed that issue, because as far as I was concerned, I was somewhat happy that they had, how to say, disabled or inhibited non-genuine type screens, the cheap screens. I mean, I know some of the clones are good, but here I generally only ever use refurbished units. So seeing Apple clamp down on that was in some ways a positive thing, because it sort of helps flush out a lot of the bottom of the barrel type operators. Screwed up the code that works the number. I see the fridge. Okay. Maker, I should have tried that. I was thinking of it, but yeah, woke up too late. Too early, rather. Like so, I'm just surprised it did have iOS 11 already on it. I thought that phone might have been sitting around for a long time, but apparently not. No, I don't know what this phone is doing. It's giving me Apple logo, and it's still extracting software in iTunes. It's kind of odd. I could put the Windows machine onto Open Broadcaster using VNC, but yeah, this phone just well, here I may as well try the let's see, may as well try that passcode with Nope, definitely not the passcode. No, we'll leave it like that. I'm going to turn the phone off and then just do the plug in with the home button type thing held down. They'll put it into recovery mode, I think. Come on, hurry up and boot. Thank you. Okay, switched off. Home button in, plugging into the computer. Okay, now it says connect to iTunes. Restore and update. Yeah, it wants to extract the software again. Oh well, it's been a bit boring at the moment. Sorry about all that. Let me see. Hey Pedro, no sleep for me. I got about 4 hours last night, so that's actually pretty good compared to the last week or two. Is this a donor parts junk phone? It's a phone that got traded in for a box of other junk pieces. It is not legal to fix a phone that codes have all that. What? Paul, are you saying it's not legal if you don't have the codes, or is it? Or you're querying? See many people who fix phones get into big trouble. Okay, so you're obviously stating that. I'm just trying to think of the particular situation you're referring to. Hey, Dr. Teddy. Haven't seen you for a while. Aaron, no, it's not quite the end. We're just waiting for iTunes to do its thing. I'm hoping that I'll be able to reformat this phone, and then hopefully the Apple ID that they've given me is the actual one that's on the phone. But technically this should be legal given that the person has exchanged the phone to me. I mean, yeah, if the device is a hot device, as in stolen, then yeah, it's I'm under obligation to report that. I think half the time the reason why a lot of people don't bother reporting these things is because you go down to the police station, you hand in everything. Where's the oil? You hand in everything, you do the police reports and all that, and nothing ever happens. Well, I shouldn't say ever. I mean, obviously, at some point, sometimes something happens. But for the most part, the devices are long forgotten. The person never picks it up, or they've already claimed it on insurance. At the end, you sort of never hear anything from it again. I was about to say, hey, this one's missing the capacitor, and then I realised that's because I took it off. I do have an iPhone 5C here that has a baseband problem, but I don't think I'm going to try and tackle that one today. This has got corrosion, obviously water damage there too. That there. Oh, I remember this one. This one I managed to get to work, I think. I got the data off, and now there's no TriStar on that either. Yeah, it's pretty messed up, this one. Not as bad as the one that Jessa did. Did anyone see if Jessa got that PMIC tear off one fixed? I couldn't get into the phone anyway without the passcode, so check FMI online using IMI and then use the Apple ID on iCloud.com and try remove. Well, I've already been into the iCloud account and it's not showing up in there. Yeah, I think a lot of the devices I've been handed, like there's this other one that I'm trying to sort out, and I have a feeling that all the spare bits that they've been giving me are all stolen. When people leave stuff and I had to fight with the carrier, people leaving stuff is actually one of my biggest issues here. I've got a cupboard full of people's parts, phones, computers, that they don't come and pick up. And here in Australia, trying to dispose of such goods is extraordinarily difficult. Let's have a look what life. Verifying iPhone restore. We'll soon see. Come on. Come on. Though the fact that this was not listed on their account does bother me. Oh yeah, the verifying takes forever. The other thing that bothers me a lot here in Australia is like with goods that you're trying to return, you have to wait 6 months before you can even consider goods as abandoned. And then you have to advertise in multiple newspapers and sales places as an auction that you're going to sell the goods that they haven't collected. You also have to notify the person, and half the time the trouble is that person just isn't responding to anything. Or the contacts they previously gave you no longer work. And then with the auction, whatever you make, you're only allowed to take what covers your costs, and the rest has to go back to the person. So if you can't get a hold of them, it's very difficult to give them back any kind of money. So people leaving items in your workshop or your shop here in Australia is a bit of a liability for the shop owner. And so we try very hard to make sure that everybody takes all their stuff every single time. I've got stuff that's been here 4 years, and I don't, as far as I know, with the Australian consumer rights laws and things like that, there's no clause for extended abandoned goods. It's just like after 6 months, that's it. There's no additional thing to say after 5 years you can just trash it. And in terms of doing the jobs, lately I've been finding the ones that I can fix up of the old phones left here, I contact the people and they don't care about the data anymore. And the ones that do want the data are the ones I'm not able to fix. So it's a bit of a painful opposites process right now. Okay, let's go see if that thing's finished verifying it. Yeah, it's just come up. iPhone, come on. iTunes is switched over, but the phone itself is still showing the progress bar. Accessing iTunes Store. Come on. Accessing iTunes Store. Update from the carrier settings is available. Would you like to? Okay. Carrier settings successfully updated. Set up as new phone. Hello. I have a feeling this may never actually had an Apple ID in the first place. The itself is still showing the progress bar. I've noticed this lately on a couple of phones. The whole iTunes process finishes, but the phone itself does not seem to. Yeah, it's showing up. Yep, everything's everything's good. Done. Let's see if I can. So it looks like it's never even had. I don't know how to. Okay. So that's, there we go. Switch over. I gotta get myself a hotkey thing. So that's where it's stuck at. But apparently it's a clean phone now. So it never had an Apple ID on it. And yet it was iOS 11. So I would have thought by now that something would have happened to the point where it would go, or the user, the previous owner would have gone, oh, I'll put my Apple ID in. Okay, let's turn this off. So in the end, it could be a case of this was simply, they knocked off the little peckers, and that was it. Ah, it's doing this crap. What about assessing a storage fee after a set period? Dr. Teddy, I've considered that, and I personally am for that kind of idea. The trouble is that the people themselves are just, they're gone, and they're very hard to get a hold of. You basically get to the point where you need to hire a PI or something like that to track them down, and that's going to cost you more money. So you've got this rock and a hard place situation where you need to spend money to be able to dispose of their goods, or you can spend no money and let it rot in your workshop. I suppose I could put it out in the shed out the back and hope that a cyclone comes along and just simply wipes everything out, and then you can claim act of God or whatever they want to call it. See, a lot of the people that come through here, they're transiting, then, and they don't typically have fixed. They don't typically have fixed residence or anything like that. They're just Set up. I don't have my other iPhone near me, so we'll have to set up this manually. Yeah, you can all access my Wi-Fi network now. Stalk your customers if you want. Unable to complete Touch ID setup. Yeah, no one cares. Don't use passcode. Don't use passcode. Set up as new phone. Don't. It's getting pretty hot. Ah, come on. Sitting there spinning its wheel. Yeah, you're done. Set up later. Don't use Apple ID. I love it how they make it really hard to do what you actually want to do, which is no passcode, no Apple ID and things like that. It's kind of like with when you try to install Chrome or Firefox onto Windows 10, and when you go to set up the defaults and you try to pick something other than Edge, and it says makes a great a very biased dialogue to get you to go back to Edge rather than use what you just installed. I don't know why they bother with those tactics. I don't see how it assists them in any way, because anyone who wants Chrome or Firefox is going to explicitly know that they're defying the use of Edge. So, I just sort of consider it a bit low when they fall for that sort of tactic. Alright, so this appears to now be running. And it's all clean. Wi-Fi works. So general, about, and it's a 16 gig phone. It's running 802.11. Oh, what? I was thinking Wi-Fi then. 1103. So it seems all good. Looks like I got a winner. Yeah, force manual. How do you pronounce that? I'll go and Google that. So yeah, it's working. Looks like I got lucky with this particular trade. Didn't know the PIN code, but didn't end up needing their Apple ID either. It was just a very unusual case of a phone that wasn't Apple ID locked. Good to go on Gumtree now. I'll probably keep this one for myself as a tester, or give it to someone in my family. I don't know, something like that. It does have SIM network. Yep, it's picking up our major carrier, so it'll probably be able to be unlocked as well. That is one thing I've noticed in the United States, that your unlocking process or your carrier locking seems to be extremely complicated. Here in Australia, by law, you after the contract's run out or something like that, you can switch to another carrier. You just have to go to the carrier's website, like Vodafone or Telstra or Optus we have here. You put in your IMEI and you submit then for it to be unlocked, and typically it doesn't cost you anything. It's usually immediate. So, oh, sorry. Alright, I gotta go.